Hey everybody, welcome. Okay, Carl, stop, Carl. Welcome to Cram Class Global Studies. You are welcome for helping me pass all of your global classes. My name is Zach Blue. I'm the esteemed author of all the books you love, such as The Error in Our Moons, Finding Hawaii, Cardboard Cities, An Abundance of Jessicas. I'm here to tell you all about the most interesting topic of all, coal. Ooh, Mr. Blue. Isn't your show a little bit derivative? You are the problem. Well, not just coal, more like energy in general and how it's affecting us, our planet, and our future. Carl, roll the intro. Well, first things first. Coal. For a few hundred years, coal wasn't actually burned for the energy it could create, but it was burnt for the protective smoke it made, which scared off all the bugs and would it was like really early and really good bug repellent. Just light something on fire and bring it around with you. It's just easier. This and a whole lot of other stuff took place during the Neolithic Revolution. But, who really cares about ancient civilizations and the accomplishments that was the jumping off point for technology that would eventually lead into our current lifestyles? Am I right? Let's fast forward a couple of thousand years, shall we? Before coal was ever used as fuel. This is a bit of an overstatement because it was almost always used, but it never really became, a mainstream thing until way later. It was touted as an amazing jewel and was even deemed the Stone of Britain back when it was called gagate, meaning jet, referring to the deep black jet color of the mineral. Now let's level up our civilization one more time and fast forward once again in the Industrial Revolution. A lot of things happened during the Industrial Revolution. Urbanization, innovation, and a bunch of other things I don't have time to talk about right now. But what we're mainly going to focus on is James, I got a unit of measurement named after me, Watt, and his amazing invention, the steam engine. Let's go to the cognitive cloud.
James Watt was born in 1736 Scotland. His father was a carpenter and was only one of 5 children that survived childhood. His personality was described as an almost feminine delicacy and sensitiveness, which made him shrink from the rough play of robust children, said Samuel Smiles. He was actually homeschooled and spent most of his free time playing with his father's carpentry tools and staring at the steam of a tea kettle.
Wow, I thought my life was sad, living eternally in the shadow of the much cooler John Green, whose novels are blatant rip-offs of mine.
When he eventually went to school in his teenage years, he excelled in mathematics, even though his teachers thought he was pretty lacking in the intelligence department. However, James Watt's genius was evident when he was asked to fix a version of the Newcomen engine. This version of the steam engine was extremely wasteful, needing copious amounts of coal to continue being powered and the boiler needing to be cooled fairly often. But despite having planned out his new revolutionary idea for the steam engine, Watt lacked the mechanical ability to make his idea come to life. This actually got him so upset that he vowed never to return to the idea ever again. That is until he met Matthew Boulton, an industrial revolutionary.
I don't know what it is about that name Matthew, but it just sounds like a guy who's just super smart and handsome, gets all the ladies. Carl, what are you doing? Long story short, with the help of Matthew Boulton, Watt's steam engine was created and had an amazing amount of improvements. Most notably, he was able to get Newcomen's engine to produce 4 times more motive force out of a single lump of coal. I think that's pretty crazy. This new engine made Watt a legend, along with his engine, which would be widely hailed as one of humanity's greatest inventions. And it isn't too hard to see why. Nowadays, we can attribute a lot of the technology we have today to the steam engine, and the engine usually appears in one of 2 ways: in a coal plant or in a nuclear reactor. But it's time for a disclosed message. An open letter to Minecraft. Minecraft, thank you for existing. You've made me so happy, no matter how many times I get beat up in alleyways. Also, John Green, I'll see you in court!
A modern coal plant functions by first pulverizing the coal, mixing it with hot air, and blowing the mixture into a part of the boiler called the firebox.
But I've got to say, it's both a really badass, but also a really uncreative name. It's not cursing if you mean donkey!
The combustion of this mixture ensures the maximum amount of heat, which is really important for the second step, turning water into steam. This now extremely hot steam is able to spin the turbine, which is connected to the shaft of the generator, or magnets spin within coil wires to produce electricity. After the steam has completed its one true purpose in life, it reverts back into its original form of water by being cooled by a network of pipes running with cold water from a nearby source, like a river or lake.
Rinse and repeat until the sun decides to die, or until global warming gets us. I'm getting ahead of myself.
A nuclear reactor makes steam in a similar way to a coal-powered steam engine. Like a coal plant, a nuclear reactor uses heat to boil water into steam and having the steam flow into a turbine, which in turn creates energy. The key difference is how the heat is obtained. Rather than burning coal to generate the heat needed, nuclear reactors use fission reactions to create heat instead of burning coal.
Both have their fair share of pros and cons, but the cons, they're just a little, con-y, con-like, con-ish. Okay, the bottom line is, the cons are really, 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 really bad cons. So, let's start with the pros and cons of coal. So one of the arguments for keeping coal as a main resource is all the jobs that it creates. Coal mining jobs are very high paying, making upwards of $80,000 a year. However, many coal mining jobs have declined over the years due to the advances in alternate forms of energy, like wind and solar, meaning coal is becoming a less prominent fuel source. An ironic fact, the Kentucky Coal Mining Museum actually uses solar energy for their museum. Now you know something. Now, while some people feel that the negative effects of using coal as a resource either don't exist or are way too far into the future for matter, it's not very hard to find evidence disproving that. An illness known as the black lung disease killed up to 10,000 people between 1995 and 2005. Using coal as a resource has already done major damage to us, not to mention the effects of climate change that only 1 in 4 Americans believe to be a problem. The rising global and sea surface temperatures, the increased commonality of heat waves, melting glaciers, and the countless scientific papers proving that we're causing global warming. Now, with that said, nuclear power plants are not off the hook. While the use of fission reactions to create heat has fixed the problem of air pollution caused by the use of coal, it also causes another pretty significant problem. In America alone, there is a reported 71,000 tons of nuclear waste just lying around. It is incredibly dangerous to the 1 in 3 people who live within 50 miles of a nuclear power plant. For years, our solution to this was put it in a barrel, put some concrete over it, and throw it into the ocean. Nice one. Obviously, this was an absolutely terrible idea. However, I would just like to say an incredibly badass thing came from it. Are you ready? 2 words. Radioactive alligators. Besides that absolutely positive side effect, the negatives are far too great to ignore. It's known that radioactive material emits ionizing radiation, and that can cause cancer. A very, very horrible side effect. Though nuclear waste has always been a problem, there's still yet to be a proper place to dispose of it. However, in Nevada, Reactor Mountain has been studied and is considered to be the best place for a nuclear waste storage facility, as it is far enough away from any civilization to be safe. That's what it takes to make sure that humanity doesn't off itself before the sun does in 5 billion years. I'd say it's pretty worth it. I'm Zach Blue, with cramclass. I'll see you next week. I'm kidding. No, this is a project. I'm not going to see you next week.